Hello and welcome to episode 8 of my Wurm Unlimited Let's Plays, and welcome to Wurm, one of the best electronic games I have ever played. And bear in mind, I started playing games mid-70s with the bat and ball game on the television. I know that's a bold statement to make. I'll quickly try and qualify it. And I will also add, though, this is just in my opinion. Everyone is different. I'll try to get across to you what makes this so special to me. Okay, just quickly to try and qualify that statement. Many years ago, when I started, about 7 years ago roughly it was, when I'll never forget this either. And you know when a game's special because that happens to you. I started off on the spawn point, and I went in them days. Everywhere was colonised. There was nowhere to build. There was nowhere to dig. It was all fenced off. It was all paved off. It was all deeded, and it was all privatised. And you pretty much couldn't do anything anywhere. So you had to go walkabout, if I may use the Australian term. You had to go walkabout for about an hour or so. Okay, so maybe that doesn't sound so great. Alright, let me continue, and I'll try to make this quick because I have actually got something I want to cover in this tutorial, which I'll get to, but I have to do this the way that I'm going to do it, I've decided. So there I am, I'm walking for 1 hour. Maybe it was more, because bear in mind I just zoned into a game which has menus upon menus upon menus upon sub-menus. That is, I'm talking about sub-menu upon sub-menu, and a window that can do 1 to 3 different menus on it alone, and has more than one meaning. I mean, you see as I've been going along that I tell you that there's different ways of doing things. That's for your own preference. So I'm going along and it's 2 hours, and I'm reading the chat because I don't know what I'm doing. I walked through someone's deed. I didn't know. I was new to the game. The guards come and attacked me. I had to keep running. I think they killed me, in fact, the guards. So I spawned in again, and I went walkabout for 2 hours again. And this time I was asking in the chat channels, and there's always been some very helpful people, and there's always been dedicated people that play the game that are given a special status as helpers. So they were helpful, and they told me, stay off the deeds. So okay, that was a rude awakening to the game, but okay, I learnt, and you will, you'll learn. But here's the kicker. Here's the thing that I knew then at that moment. This is special. Reading the chat, and in the chat you can see down here you've got local, you've got global freedom, and trade. Well, I'm on a private server with Rainstorm, so none of this is active. But on Wurm Online, of which I'm talking about, I was either in freedom, either on the server's chat or the global chat, which means all of the servers. And it must have been the server. There were 2 friends, and they were having a public drama using the chat channel. And I know what you're thinking. Oh yeah, all nicely staged by the... No, this was the perfect, how can I call it, black humour. It brought tears to my eyes. I was crying with laughter, because as I'm walking along I realised that one of the friends is in an actual pen to the left of me, as I'm visualised that I'm walking down this road, this pavement, and on my left is a deed, and there's someone in a pen. And as I'm walking along, I can see the local chat, and I'm going to the freedom chat, and I see, wait a minute, this is the guy, one of the friends that's having the argument. And basically, his friend had locked him in the pen because he was upset with him. So then what this friend, who's by me in the pen, starts to commence doing is he first of all warns his friends that he's going to start killing his animals. And so he proceeds to start slaughtering the other friends' animals that are in the pen. And so with this other friend goes ballistic, and he starts swearing, and he starts as you can imagine, he gets very upset, and a GM has to get involved. And so, all the while, there is banter going back and forth, and the server is starting to join in. I mean, there's people throwing in comments all the time, you know, fueling. Like I put logs in the campfire, they were putting logs in the campfire. They were fueling these two friends up. And it was getting funnier and funnier with all the comments that were throwing back and forth between these two friends. Meanwhile, one is turned psychopath in the pen, and, well, I was just laughing there, crying. I was just crying with laughter, because I was hearing the animals, the pigs. If you hear a pig be slaughtered in this, it's quite amusing. Imagine that you just zone into the game and then you hear these really funny sounds, and you're watching and this argument going on. You're hearing the animals being slaughtered. You're watching them. You're seeing the earth. Well, anyway, so there was that. I was crying with laughter, and I thought, this is beautiful. And you know, when you know in your life, when you hear something really special, when your soul is uplifted, whether it's music or a good book or something that lifts you up, you feel it inside. I felt that in Wurm. So there. And the second qualification, I've been playing Wurm for the last 7 years. I'll leave it there. Right, okay, let's get on with this tutorial. Sorry about that. I probably wasted and waffled a lot. I've got some other stories. I may share them with you. I don't know. I don't want to be boring. I want to stick to being helpful. So, this episode. Well, thank you all for joining me. Hopefully no one's been hung up or stopped the video by now because of me rambling on. I want to say thank you to Dave, because he visited and left a comment saying about the windows that I need to start really explaining. I forget exactly which window in the GUI. We're talking about the GUI. I'm going to go, in this episode, I'm going to go over the interface and the controls. And the reason I started with all of the story that I was telling you about and how wonderful this game is, because I would only do this. I've only been doing this, for goodness sake, for about 3 or 4 days. I'm new to all of this. I'm new to all of the recording software studio. I'm new to all of the sound and the mic. It goes on and on and on. I'm learning as I go. Visualise a snail going across the screen. I'm learning. So what Dave has asked for, okay, is a very poignant, good point, because it is really one of the things you're first faced with. It's overwhelming. Maybe that's why I didn't do it in episode number 1. It's overwhelming. Or maybe it was because the screen was too blurred, because I was learning. But anyway, I'm hoping that you can see this. I can only hope that whatever you're watching this on, you can see all of the little texts in the windows, especially as I go through explaining them. I don't know how many parts this episode will have, so I'm committed to doing this to the best that I can, in order to enable you to have a good understanding, to the best of my ability, so that you can have the best understanding and the best start to playing this truly wonderful game. And I owe it to Code Club AB anyway, and I owe it to Rolf, because he's given the world a treasure, and I'm going to help you open that treasure box up to see the joy that's inside. Okay, so let's stop straying. Right, okay, so yeah, this is an overwhelming task, really, to me at this stage in my learning. It's an overwhelming task, but I'm just going to do it. There's going to be mistakes, no doubt, countless mistakes along the way, but fortunately I did have the good sense to open up on my other monitor screen the Wurmpedia, and that's what I'm going to go through. Wurmpedia, of course, is by the makers of the game, Code Club AB. A fantastic wiki. Okay, I'm not going to keep going on and on about how fantastic. Of course I am, but I shall try not to. I shall try to stay on topic. So I'm using Wurmpedia, which is as good as you're going to get information-wise. This is by the makers of the game, the devs, all of them, great guys, the whole team. This is by them, so the information is straight from their website. 2 reasons for that. 1, I've been mapping keys on my keyboard, so I'm going to go through the controls that's the keys. So if I say to you, oh, this key does this because I've mapped it, so you see why. Okay. And the second reason is because I want to, if I can, make as few mistakes as possible, because whilst I do have the knowledge there, a lot of it gets forgotten. There's lots of updates, lots of changes, etc, etc, etc. So I'm going to stick to the Wurmpedia and go through it from there. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be computing the information into my brain. I'm going to be translating the information to you, and hopefully I will, in that translation, then be able to demonstrate it in the game, so you can put an action to the actual text so you can see it. So that will helpfully enable you to understand this. So there we go. I'm using Wurmpedia, just so you know, because you might think, wow, this guy's a walking brain if he stored all of this amount of data. No. Oh yeah, and on that subject, I shall keep going until either my brain explodes with overload of data, or the 30 minutes on my timer goes. So, and then I'll just go to another part. I am sorry, you can skip the videos if this is all too boring for you, or you don't need to know this information. It's fine, but I believe it is important information. And thank you, Dave, for pointing that out. Very helpful. Hopefully I will get more comments and more feedback and input, and we can appreciate this game. Okay, carrying on. So where do I start? Okay, you're thinking, Gamester, look, there's only a few windows on the screen. What's the matter with you? Get a grip. You know, stop panicking. Well, okay, that sounds nice and easy to say. Let's just go to some of the different windows that you can start pulling up. Oh, now let's see. Where can we? There's windows everywhere. Okay, I'm going to go mad here, but I'm going to try and get through this. I'm going to try and get through it in, I don't know, 1 or 2 episodes. I'm hoping that it certainly won't be more than that, but we'll see. Okay, and I'm going to go from the Wurmpedia page in the same order. So we're going to start with the game controls. So this episode, interface and controls, we're going to start with the game controls. First of all, movement. To move forwards, backwards, and left and right, it is the W, A, S and D keys on your keyboard. To look around, you simply left click, hold the mouse cursor and move the mouse, or your left and right arrow keys will do the same. To center the view, press V on your keyboard. Okay, I've mapped my key, so I can't do that, but if you're on the default settings, if you press V on your keyboard, it will center the view. When you're walking along, you can auto run if you press the X key. See, you can't see, but I'm not pressing any keys now after pressing the X key, and it's auto moving, auto running. Okay, or you can use the page up key. So you press once to start running or auto moving, and press the key again to stop. Okay, moving on. The I key. The I key brings up the inventory. Here is the inventory. Okay, we've been using the inventory, so enough said about that. The C key. That brings up the character window. So if you press the C key, you'll see the character window. Oh, there is so much information to go over this window, you would not believe. Oh, for goodness sake. Okay, brain will explode at some point, so bear with me if you do hear some sort of mushy explosion. Okay, let's carry on. So that's the character window. This is only the keys. I will go over the interfaces. Like that character window I just brought up. It wasn't a cop-out. I didn't close it and panic and run and hope that you'll forget that that window exists. I will go over that window. Okay, so that was the C key. The B key is the crafting window. If you press the B key, it will bring up this window, the all-important crafting window. Now you notice as I've been doing my Let's Plays, I've gone old school on you, where I'll activate. It's just because I've played the game for so long that way. You know, you do things, so many things for years on, and they just become second nature, and you do them without even realising it. Hence why you'll see me doing that, even though I do try to use this. Why? Because this is magnificent. Magnificent. I love crafting in games. I love trade skilling, and I love crafting. And I will be doing at some point another game which has a beautiful crafting system, but this is the game that I'm doing at the moment, so I will stay true and loyal to Wurm because it is beautiful. So this crafting window, and you've got the crafting recipes that you see me click on, and so that's what the where was I? That was the B key. Okay, so sorry, I nearly started to stray again there. We've seen it in action. That's enough for now. Okay, next. The N key, the crafting recipes. So that's just talking about, so N for November is the letter I'm talking about, just so you understand which letter I said. N brings up this recipes. Okay. So next, the map, which is the M key, M for Mike. Okay, so I will press this here, there. So if you press the M key, it will bring up the map of the server that you're on. Okay, let's close that, because the map's self-explanatory, and I'm just going through the keys. I'll do this as we go along, but the map, yeah, so let's just go through the keys first of all. Okay, so that's the map. Next, O for the options. So if you press the O, it brings up the options window. Now, I will go through the options window. Yeah, let's go through the options window whilst I'm on this, because there's going to be so many windows to cover. I don't want to skip some of the important windows, and this is an important window. Okay, so under the options, we've got first of all character. Yes, that does look familiar. That's because earlier we pressed the C key that brought up the character window. I'm going to go over that a little later. Inventory there. Skills. That's brought up the skills. We have looked at them. Okay, but you can either do it using the skills window, or you can press the F2 key and it will bring it up. But I'm getting ahead of myself, aren't I? So that's the skills. On a side tracking of this, just while I quickly stray off, I am going to try to cover every single item in this list. Not in these two episodes, or in this episode, but in the future as I progress. And there's skills that you haven't seen yet because I haven't tried them yet, so they aren't in the list yet. So we'll get to that. There we go. Right, so that is the skills window. Map, we've covered. That was the M key. So you're seeing here, there's a pattern that all of them have another way of opening them up. It's all intertwined. Valray map. That's something completely new. Wow, that's completely got me. I haven't got a clue about what this is, so I'm not going to speak on it. It does look fantastic. It really does. I didn't even know that existed. Bear in mind, you got to give me a break. You got to cut me some slack here. This Wurm Unlimited only came out. It was launched on Steam October the 21st, last Wednesday. So, and they ramped up, doing all more. Oh goodness me, the game's full of. They keep adding stuff to it all the time, constantly. I can't keep up with the updates. There's just loads of stuff. They add it. They add it. They add it. They add it. Their aim is to make the perfect game. So I'll let you decide on that. You know, I've already formed my opinion. You know what I think on that subject. Okay, getting back to this. I'm straying. Okay, so console. Well, we've used the console because we had a little tiny look at the binding of the keys. Oh, and they've made it really... Now, seriously, that was the old school way of doing it. They have made key binding so wonderful and beautiful. It's so intuitive. It's incredible. They have done such a fantastic job. You see, the trouble is I'm using some recording software and I'm only capturing the game. I'm not capturing the monitor, so I can't go outside of the game to show you all of the skill settings. I'll tell you what, at some really later episode I will go through the key bindings, the new way they've done it, but it's beautiful. It's a work of art, the key bindings, the way they've done it. Okay, so that was the console. That's another way of doing key bindings. That's the way we had to do it when I started playing 7 years ago. They have now modernised it, streamlined it and made it a thing of beauty, the key bindings window. Okay, so going on, HUD settings. Okay, let's go over these, why don't I? I'm just going to check on Wurmpedia. Bear with me one moment. See, the problem is the Wurmpedia page that I'm looking at doesn't cover all of they've split it off. It goes off into different areas. It's going to get too confusing, so I'm going to quickly run through what I can in this achievement window. Okay, that brings up. You'll notice as you go along playing the game, achievements start appearing, telling you about something that you've just done. You've seen achievements before, so there we are. That's an achievement window, and there is, I don't know how many achievements there are. There's lots. That's what that is. Okay, going on. Personal goals window. This you'll see when you first when you first load into Wurm Online and Wurm Unlimited. You'll see the game gives you some targets, some goals. Because the thing with a beautiful game like this is when you're given a whole world to explore and conquer and just enjoy, see it as, like I said previously, a giant Meccano set or a giant Lego set, and you can just, well, you can get lost in it, and you can you can let all of your creativity come out in full steam ahead. It's just like now with Wurm Unlimited, you've got your whole continent to just enjoy. So, and this gives you some achievements, some goals, some targets to aim for, because when presented with such a massive amount of content and possibilities, unless you are given some targets, something inside you is just gonna overload and it's gonna put you off. So anyway, thankfully we have these targets and goals. But anyway, I'm going to help you with targets, because you can see as we go along and you can say, okay, let's try doing that, or I didn't know, so we'll work our way through that. Right, chat window. That's here. I've made it very small at the moment. Let's move it back. But I did go over it earlier when I first started talking. So when you chat in local means the area around you to a certain size that you will see other people in. Like you see when Rainstorm's here, she appeared down here. You may have noticed that. You may not have, but that means they're local to you. Global means all of the servers, and this one means the server that you're currently on, but that's for Wurm Online. Okay, that's when you got obviously everyone around the world all playing together happily and stealing and killing and thieving. Oh, okay, let's not go into none of that. It is a lot of fun. I mean, you know, everyone has different ways and things for getting their enjoyment. But this brings out the creativity in you. So that's the chat window. Moving on. Compass. That's up here. So you can see, helpful little compass, which of course is... Oh, here we go. Oh, there. Right. Okay, so yeah, I put it inside my backpack. Notice I kept all my items in there because when I get to a certain window, I'm going to show you that window demonstrating this. Okay, so that's the compass. Debug timing. I'm not even going to go there, to be honest with you. Thank you, and goodbye to that. Event window. That's this window down here. Now I'm going to go to the Wurmpedia for this, because I like the way it's set out. The event window. This text box shows your actions and their results. It also gives other information like actions performed by people near you and important messages from GMs. So that's when you're on a public server or you're on Wurm Online. It's talking about GMs can, you'll see statements shouted that are broadcasted on that particular server. Okay, the important bit I think of that was that you'll see if you've got friends near you, as there's been rainstorm, you will see down here, I'm too involved in what I'm doing to notice, but you'll probably notice that it says rainstorm does this or rainstorm does that. So that's what it's talking about. It's telling you that not only your actions but people around you, the actions. You see drop a fish, that's something I was doing earlier. All your actions appear down here, and you've noticed the bar going across showing you the progress of whatever action you're doing. Okay, moving on. So that is the event window. The fight window. This little window up here. That's to do with combat. We're going to get to combat. So I'm not going to explain any more apart from the fact that you can have different fight stances. So you can have aggressive, normal, ranged. So yes, there's bows in the game. There's all types of different weapons. But this takes it to a level you've not visited before. Because, how can I best explain that in words to you? Because I'm going to take much too long otherwise over all of this. I'm leaving that for now. I've got to, because otherwise I'm going to really go off on a tangent. Okay, so back to here. That was the fight window. Health bar. Now, the game calls this health bar. I'm going to call it health box, because it's talking about this window up here. Now, this, the reason I'm calling this a health box is because you've got your stamina here, which is in green. You've got your water, which is the blue line, and you've got your food, which is the green line. Now, this bar, let's go to the Wurmpedia. Okay, so Wurmpedia refers to this little window up in the top left corner here as the health bar. Hovering the mouse over any of these bars will provide more information on the overall player status. Use the right mouse button on the bar to select which information to display. Descriptions are top to bottom, reading left to right. Okay, and then it's going to discuss the different colours that we're going to see here. But let's first talk about that. I said to you earlier, didn't I, about Windows having multiple uses. Let's give you a demonstration. So, first use, well, you can see it's there. Second use, right click, you can now have access to these options. Third use, if I double left click, it brings up the character window. Okay, so that's what I'm talking about. Going back to Wurmpedia. It's going to talk about the different colours and about these that are in here, and then I'll explain them as we go. So, green, remaining stamina. This will decrease while performing actions and walking. Remaining still while not climbing and not performing any actions will replenish stamina. Yeah, I think out the few things I actually got right so far in this Let's Play, that's one of them. Okay, red, the colour red, when you'll see the colour red in this top green bar. Damage taken. This indicates how much damage the player has taken and directly impacts how much stamina can be stored. Once this reaches 100% red, the player dies, which I expected to do in the last episode and didn't, but that's enough of that. So what's this talking about? So, okay, You're walking along quite happily, and all of a sudden, one of the wild creatures decides to take a bite out of your leg. I was going to say something else, but we'll keep this to... Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Okay, that's the timer. Let's carry on quickly. I'm going to go on for a little bit, slightly longer. Okay, so decides to take a bite out of you. What will happen is you'll take some damage. And what will happen is this green bar will shrink to the amount of damage you've just taken with red. So it will harm you. And there's another way of seeing the harm, because your body will get different colours. And if it was your leg, it bit you on your leg, not your bum, your leg, that leg would be red. And it will have a little box with a tiny little icon in it. And the colour of that tiny little icon will denote how much damage that bite did to you. But okay, I think I'm going on. This is going to take much too long. So getting back to this quickly. That is the red. Blue, remaining retained water, directly proportional to stamina regeneration. The higher the first of a player, the slower the stamina replenishes. A player cannot die from first. Okay, so there we are. There's the fact on that. I think I did say that. I hope I said that. Please let me have said that so I don't look too much of an incompetent fool here. Right, okay, so that's the blue bar. Basically, what it's saying is when that gets to 0, okay, when it's completely out, when it says water, 0%, you're not going to die. You just will not be able to regenerate your stamina as you use it. So if you don't move, if you sit here all night, just looking at the stars or the clouds, or the moon, or moons, I think it's got more than one moon, this isn't going to, the green stamina bar won't move even if you've got no water. It's going to stay full until you start moving or walking or doing some action. Okay, moving on. Orange, green, hunger level and nutritional status, directly proportional to stamina regeneration. The higher the hunger of a player, the slower their stamina replenishes. A player cannot die from hunger. Colour changes to green at higher nutritional level and orange at lower. Low food level can prevent a player from completing strenuous tasks such as digging and felling trees. Okay, let's translate that into examples for you. Okay, so we're talking about this bar here. So what it's saying is hunger level and nutritional status. There's a whole section on that. Okay, goodness me, this will take a long time. Let's see, how can I quickly do this? Okay, so the colour with this bar, when it's right over here, it's green. As it goes down, like it said, it's going to change colour, turn orange, and did it say red? No, just turn orange. And then you run out of food, basically. I will carry on with nutrition in the next episode. I'm going to just finish... No, let's quickly carry on. Okay, this is going to go over. But hey, you can stop watching the video at any time you wish. Right, okay, so quickly, I want to finish this health box. Okay, so it's saying that once that your food runs out, goes to orange and runs out, gets to 0%, basically same as the water, you're not going to die, you just won't regenerate, you won't replenish your stamina. So exactly the same for what I just said for water. Okay, grey, sleep bonus, remaining sleep bonus, that's this one here. Okay, that's this here. You can't see it, it's empty because I have no sleep bonus. Sleep bonus gives you a boost to your skills. As you do a skill, it will speed up your increase in that skill. So if I'm cutting a tree down, if I start using the sleep bonus, it will speed that skill gain up. So in the skills window, as I'm cooking some hot food, the hot food will go up quicker for as long as I'm using the sleep bonus. How do I get sleep bonus? You sleep in a bed. This is how it works on Wurm Online. I have not created a bed yet in Wurm Unlimited. I'm only telling you from previous experience with regards to the sleep bonus, just simply because it's empty and there's nothing there for you to see. That now hopefully makes little sense. Okay, let's get now to right clicking. We right click, you see here options, lock window, toggle name display. Well, if we do that, you'll see what it does. It gives you the little tab with the name there. Okay, right click, toggle FPS, frames per second. That's all I'm going to say on that. There you go, frames per second tells you the speed. Too much information. Okay, toggle SB. So if we click that, that is sleep bonus. So let's do it again. There you go, see it disappeared. That's your sleep bonus, which you'll get when you sleep in a bed. Then it will speed up your skills gain. Okay, right click, toggle speed. Oh, now here's a good one, and I'm actually going to leave this one on. Okay, when you move forwards, backwards, it tells you what speed you're going. Why would it do that? Well, there's different types of boats in this game. There's different carts. With the different boats, they go at different speeds. So you can see what speed you're going. You can see which one is optimum. When you're walking, you'll walk on different surfaces, depending on the type of the surface, whether it's grass, whether it's peat, whether it's tar. All the surfaces have different speeds. You can see and work out for yourself as you're going along what's best to use when a bear takes a bite out of you. You won't want to run along the slowest terrain, you will want to head for the quickest. So very, very useful to keep that up. Right, with that, thank you very much for joining me. I am sorry, this is going to be long, but I'm going to do this. I'm committed to getting you all of the information regarding these windows to the best of my ability, and I will try and go quicker on the next one. Thank you very much for joining me, and goodbye.